Welcome. It's exciting to be here and my pleasure. I am Terry and you're listening to Tuesdays with Terry, or Tuesday with Terry. Another episode coming up, talking to you live from Austin, Texas, where the sun is hot. I'm going to tell you, not only hot, it is blistering hot. The last 2 weeks, over 100 degrees. Holy macaroni. I mean, you talk about frying an egg on a sidewalk. Yes, indeedy. It's hot out there. It is hot. Spicy hot. Barbecue is sweet and all the drinks are free when you hang out with me. Thanks for joining us. I wanted to share a story with you today, and I want to give credit where credit's due. The story is the story of the rock. I first heard this story from a guy named Joe Cerulli, owns Gainesville Health and Fitness Center up in Gainesville, Florida. Longtime fitness industry guy, so hats off to you, Joe. I took this story, I've embellished it a little bit, I've added on a little bit, and kind of made it a story of my own, and you could probably tell it 10 times better than me, but I'm going to give it a shot. So imagine a moment, if you will, where there is a large boulder that you've made a decision that you want to move that large boulder or that large rock to a new destination. And let's say that destination is up to the top of a hill, up to the top of a mountain, it's up to the top of a peak. And of course, and when you get started, that large boulder, it's every bit of 6 or 8 feet tall, and it's every bit of 6 or 8 feet wide, and it weighs heavy pounds upon pounds. And so you can't move that rock by yourself, but you start that rock out on a path that's very wide and very flat and very smooth. And so as you invite a couple people, maybe a couple of your friends, maybe you invite some people to be a business partner with you, and you decide to move that rock. And you begin to push on that rock, and because the path is smooth, and because the path is flat, and because the path is wide, you can move that rock by just some of you getting behind it and really pushing on it and getting that rock to move. And it might even build up a little bit of momentum and speed as you begin to push it. But what happens is, as you begin to ascend the hill, ascend the mountain, or ascend the peak, the path begins to get narrower and narrower, and the hill begins to get steeper and steeper. Instead of a smooth surface, you now begin to get a much rougher surface, bumps and holes and potholes and gravel and roots from trees that are intersecting the path. And the path gets narrower and narrower. And so it's, instead of just 3 or 4 or 5 of you moving that, you need a few more people. And so you invite or you encourage a couple other people to come on board, and you tell them what you're trying to do. We're trying to move this rock, and this is what we're trying to do. And you persuade them that this is a good idea, and they join you. Now you've got 6, 8, 10 people moving that rock. Imagine that the hill gets steeper and the path gets narrower and narrower, and more people begin to help you move that rock. And now it's not 10 people, but it's 20 people or 30 people are helping, and you're alternating in front of the rock and pushing on each other's back and, pushing each other and supporting each other. But, everybody getting behind the rock to move the rock up that hill. And the rock continues to move, and we encourage more people until we have 100 people. But not everybody can be. There's not enough surface area around the rock. And so what we do is the line becomes longer and longer and longer. And pretty soon the line becomes so long and the path becomes so narrow that many people that join the back of the path cannot even see the rock. And so they have to depend on the other people in the group to tell them what's really going on in this line. And the people at the back of the line encourage more people to join the line to help move the rock. But the people that join the line at the back after 100 or 200 or even 300 people cannot see the rock itself. They don't really know that there even is a rock. They're not even sure if there is a rock. They have to believe in the people that are in line. And as the day goes on and the sun gets up about 12 o'clock, sure enough, it becomes lunchtime. And some people toward the back of the line, they're not really moving the rock themselves. They're waiting for their turn to move to the front of the line and move the rock. They pull out a lunch pail, or they pull out a basket, or they pull out a brown paper bag, and inside it they got a sandwich, and they might have a drink, and they got a couple things going on there, and they start to have lunch. And pretty soon a few more people come in and join the line, and they say, well, what are you doing here? We say, well, we're having lunch, but we're moving a rock. And they say, well, I'm glad you're having lunch because it's lunchtime for me too. And they open their lunch, and then a few more people come in and they say, what are you doing? They say, we're having lunch. They said, well, thank God we brought our cooler. And not only did we bring our cooler, but in that cooler, we got some beers and we got some drinks. I mean, man, let's just sit down. And they sit down on the cooler and they're waiting for the people to move the rock. And pretty soon the people in the front of the line are working hard to move the rock. People in the back of the line are having lunch, drinking beers. Pretty soon more people involved. And they say, well, thank God I brought my banjo. Thank goodness I brought my guitar because, we can sing a little song and have a little fun. And sure enough, the people in the back of the line are now having a party. And people come up in line. I said, what are you guys doing here? So we're having a party. Want to join? And say, sure. And they all think in the back of the line they're having a party. But in the front of the line, they're very busy at moving that rock. And as you can tell, it's a parable or it's a story about your business, and it's a story about what you're really trying to do. And what I would ask you today is, for you and for your business or for your life, what is the rock that you're really trying to move? For me in my business, in the fitness business, I'm trying to increase net membership. And you see, the people and my executives at the front of the line and at the core of the rock are doing everything we can to spend the money to create employment opportunities, to create marketing opportunities, to create awareness and lead generation and sales systems and processes and great programs and services that people can share with their friends. Anything that we can do to move that rock. But yet, as our company's gotten bigger and we ended up with 600, 700, 800 employees, the question is for us is, do the people in the middle of the line, our middle management, or the people at the end of the line, our frontline management, do they really understand what we're really trying to do here? Are we really trying to move the rock, or are we having a party? Or is it just fun to be involved in the fitness business because it's a great, fun, energetic business? Or do we really have an objective or a strategy or tactics along with that strategy? And I share that story with you today because I would like you to think about it in two ways. Maybe one is for your own personal life. What is it that you're trying to do personally? Maybe you're trying to lose weight, and that rock is you trying to lose weight. And you've encouraged some of your friends or your family members to support you in that endeavor. And maybe on the weekends, maybe when it's time for Friday night pizza or when it's time for weekend beers, maybe they're all having their beers and having their pizza, but they're not really supporting you in moving that rock. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe it's in your finances. Maybe you're trying to save up for something special. Maybe you're trying to save up for a new house or a new car or a new apartment, or maybe you're trying to save up and help out a family member in some way or shape or form. That's the rock that is in front of you. In business, the rock is what your core objective is. The number one, if there was only one KPI, only one key performance indicator for your business, what would that rock be for your business? And how is the communication from the very front of the rock to people touching the rock all the way back, whether it's 50, 100, 1,000, 5,000 or more employees? How are you communicating what that objective is? And how is everybody within that organization working towards moving the rock? Would you do me a favor and think about that today? And think about ways that you can communicate better. Think about ways that you can make sure that everybody is in tune and make sure that everybody has a hand in moving the rock. Number one is identify what the rock is for you, for your business, or for you personally. Think about the people that are trying to move the rock and what you're doing, and how do you effectively communicate with your entire organization that is in fact what you're trying to do. Hopefully that was a good little story for you to try to bring some life to your own business or your own personal situation. My name's Terry. I'm your friend. Don't forget, move that rock.